Hey everybody, amprepairguy.com, 203-892-4119, also harbackelectronics.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. So I'm waiting on a parasitic board for a AL572. I sold a Kenwood TL922, so I'll be working on that, going through it to get it done when the customer's payment arrives. Actually, I'm also waiting for a band switch for it. Also sold another amplifier. I have a Heathkit SB1000. I'm waiting on a meter for that, and that's actually for sale. More amplifiers and boxes, so I'm doing them one at a time. I had appointments yesterday, so didn't get any work done yesterday, except for hardbox kits. I have hardbox orders to pack after this. So the customer decided, with my advice, not to hook up the external transformer. It's just not, it's not worth it. Price involved to do it right just, adds to it not being worth it. So, I'm going to go through it and undo all of these mods, or I guess not mods, I guess mods are poor work the original owner had done. Make it right. So story is, this went to another tech guy and he added this board and filter cap. I think he charged 300 something or whatever to put the cap and board in. The customer who owns it paid for the parts, and it had just this wire showed before going to the primary side of the transformer, which was external, no cabinet or anything, and it also had high voltage wire. The customer still has that, but dangerous. But it had the stock, has the stock relays for line switching, which aren't rated for enough current. I mean, there's so many things that should have been changed. And anyway, went to him, put the cap in, board in. Customer got it back. So the guy who worked on it put 5 watts into it, he said. Didn't test it to full output. Didn't even test it to legal limit. And so he got it back, and customer tried it on 75 meters or 80, and heard a snap and brought it back. I guess it was there for over a year and a half altogether, I think he said. So he had it for a while, and then I guess the guy noticed this aftermarket plate choke. The wire was open at the end, so he rewound it, and the inductance is way too low in this. I'm going to pull it out, I'll measure it, but I'm going to put a most likely put in a WHI choke. Tom said it would work fine in here. So last time I had it, I took the tubes out, I high potted them. They're not matched, so I'm going to see. I warned the customer, and I told him they're both IMAX, but I'll see what I see. I'm going to do everything I can, and if he needs tubes, that's up to him. I'll fix it. These tubes are very expensive. I don't normally work on alphas, but I've known this customer since I was like 12 years old, and he's local, so I don't see it needing anything I can't get. I mean, I haven't turned it on yet. I'm gonna fix this stuff first. So I high potted the tubes, and I high potted the doorknob caps, and they checked that okay, but those are static tests. Things can change when you're producing RF, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, this mod was done to like a soft start, or possibly drop the voltage a little bit to the filament. They've taken those out. This whole transformer soft started, so there's no reason to soft start, add any more soft start or that. If the with an indirectly heated cathode tube, it's really important to have the filament voltage within a certain percent. The tolerance is even tighter than a non-indirectly heated cathode tube. So like a directly heated cathode tube, you know, you have a little more leeway. So there's no need for that. The two, I'll show you when I take the side cover off, but the two soft start resistors are smoked. And this has the option, I saw in the manual, someone scribbled out the value on the drawing where it says 150K. There are two of them in series, 150K 50 watt resistors for the plate bleeders. They scribbled it out, but 200K, then I looked in the parts description, it says 150K or 200K. So with the 200K, they'll run a little bit cooler. So I'll see, I did the math, and it's ample load. So if the 200Ks are okay, I'll leave them alone, but I have two brand new 150Ks, and the difference is minimal. So either or will work, but you know, he would have been raising the plate voltage a little bit, and it wouldn't have sagged at all, really, if everything was correct. You know, the line, the primary wiring and everything. So definitely needed a little bit more total resistance, because they would have ran even hotter with the higher anode voltage. So this is just kind of crazy. Look at this gauge wire. I showed this before in the last video on this. It's the primary wire. Look how small it is. I think it's big. So this was feeding the primary of the external transformer, and this is the wire that was feeding it. So when you bring an amp to someone, make sure they understand things, you know, like engineering and stuff, like wire gauge, ampacity ratings, just everything. Because if you'd stuffed big fuses in this would have burnt up, and you could have had a fire. I mean, it would have been really bad. Would have destroyed the amplifier. Just, I don't get it. I just see crazy things, and this isn't too bad, so I'll go through it, but it's still going to take time. But again, normally I don't work on alphas, so please don't call me. You know, if you're local, you have something like this, maybe, but I'd need a lot of pictures. You know, he provided pictures and stuff and all that, and you know, he has, I think he has 4. This is his 4th one. He has 4 of these. He loves the amplifiers, likes to collect amps. He also owns that QRO thing I just worked on. Or not just worked on, like a while back, you know, a month or two ago. The 3-tube thing. So, okay, so I'm going to get to work. I'll pull the side cover off, and I will see you soon. I don't know where I put the... Right here somewhere. Anyway, I have the new resistors are in here somewhere. So, I'll show you those when I get the cover off. See you soon. Okay, so here are the line switching relays. Solid state type. So high voltage relay that switches the secondary. You can see the two soft start resistors. They're smoked. It's hard to see. So you can see the wire wound. Replace those, and then there are the two high voltage resistors. So I have to carefully remove the two boards, and then remove this assembly, get it out of the way so I can get at all that. So I have to be really careful not to damage anything. I check all the other stuff, one back there, check the little fuse back there, and see you guys soon. Stay tuned. I'm back. I have the new resistors in. Soldered nice, secured properly. Put a piece of heat shrink over the two wires that go to the opposite end of the two resistors that are in series, and it's away from the B positive side, just in case it moved and touched it. In case to clarify, in case that now insulated wire with Teflon were to touch B positive, it gives it extra protection. Okay, so I replaced the two 10 ohm 25 watt resistors right here, and here are the old ones. Shot. Here's the one that's open. Something happened down below. base. So I would never just change resistors without at least, I don't know why that one failed, but it could have been defective when he put it in, or who knows. But the soft start ones I know would have failed from a short on startup. So I had high potted the tubes, like I said before, in the plate blocking cap. So this amp, just to clarify, this has not been turned on since it left that other repair slash technician's place. Has not been turned on at all. So it left his possession, and it was a local guy, and it was picked up, so it wasn't shipped or anything. So this resistor was open. That means there was no bleeder load on the oil fill cap, and these soft start resistors were also like this when I left the shop. Okay, so I'm going to clean this relay with the ox gold, clean the contacts really well. I changed the, I'm sorry, I checked this slow blow 3 amp fuse. That's good. The diodes are good over there. That's about it. So I'll see you guys soon. Next will be the wiring. I also noticed that the nut, look at this, back of the meter, it's loose. Just little things, you know, probably knocked into it when he was changing the cap. Okay, so this foot's also loose. Okay, so I'm gonna get to work. See you guys soon. Put the bracket back in that holds the cards. I clean the connections on the cards. You already saw what I did down here. Clean the contacts on the high voltage relay that switches between the secondary taps. Clean them with the oxide gold. So I fixed the connections up here. I restripped them, soldered them, heat shrunk them, re-zip tied everything. Tightened up on the nuts on the back of the meters. Installed a new plate choke from Tom, WHAI. Put a longer screw in. Had like a super stubby screw and a aftermarket choke, which was not appropriate for this amp. So place the lead going from the base of the choke to over here to the bypass cap. And there's another little choke. It's already there. It's stock. And it's good. I checked it. And I replaced the lead going from the top of the plate choke over to the plate blockers. Okay. So I have the plastic washer underneath the choke and a split lock washer between the longer screw and the metal, where it goes through the metal into the choke. Okay, so I'm going to put the side cover on, and I'm going to eat some lunch first, and then prep it to test it. Okay, so remember, this supposedly worked, even though it was only tested, I think the second time when it came back from the guy's place the second time. I think he put, I don't remember. The first time was like 5 watts, the second time was more, but I think it was tested up to 500 watts on one band. I think that's what the customer told me, the repair guy told him. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Stay tuned. The PA had another problem the customer didn't tell me about. So input S3 error was high. So I went to test it, and what's going on? Radio's folding back. So I figured it out. I cleaned the input rotary switches really well, and the output rotary switch and input rotary switch were out of alignment by 1 band. So what I did was I went in there carefully, and I had to advance it to get at the screws, but there's a little coupler screws. So anyway, that's taken care of. I'm not gonna flip it over in the video, but actually, hold on, let me do that. I'm gonna put the cover back on, and I'll show you what I did underneath to figure it out. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so what I did was I added non-inductive resistors. I have 25 ohms total here, and put it between the cathode and ground, and then I manually keyed the input relay, and I fed it with my analyzer. This nut was also loose for the input BNC. I cleaned the rotary switches with the oxide gold really well, and that's about it. This is definitely not a factory two-tuber. Okay, so But reconnect the leads to the relay, take those resistors out, put the cover back on, and connect it, fire it up, see if it works. See you guys soon. Stay tuned. The completed alpha. I already told you everything I did in the other videos, so I'm just going to show it in operation. 3 of the meter lamp bulbs are out. Customer said he's going to change them. I don't have them. Okay, so you see the anode voltage there. It's on the higher voltage setting. Lower voltage, higher voltage. Okay, so it's tuned for the higher voltage setting. This has two 8877s. Like I said before, they are mismatched. I told the customer he needs to buy 2 new iMacs. I don't recommend the Chinese ones in here. One seems to be a little soft. Okay, so I'm going to show it doing 3 kilowatts, taking about 80 or so watts of drive to get that. So on 10 meters, that's where the customer wants to see it working. So I'm going to show the settings. Okay, so 5 kW slug. It's on for PEP. Sorry. You can see audio. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. You see the feed through. That's 10 watt slug. That's with it on key. But a 1. Did the math. It's like a 1-to-1 or so. Anyway. Audio hello. Audio hello. Hello, hello. 3 kW right there. Audio hello, hello, hello. Audio hello, 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 hello. Audio hello. See how much my voltage is dropping. Audio tit 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 tit. Audio line voltage tit 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 tit. Peak. Audio hello, hello, hello. Audio hello, hello, hello. Forward. Audio hello, hello, hello. Shh, shh, shh. Reflect. Okay, so one more video. The reflect. Be right back. Show the reflect on 10 meters. So radio set to roughly 10 watts. You can see it. 10 watt slug. It's about 9.8 or so, 9.9 watts. Amp is unkeyed, so I'm going to go and turn the slug around. Key the radio. See, that's the feed through right there. Key the amp. Goes up a needle width. So it's like what? About 125 milliwatts or so. You can see amp is keyed. Okay, so that's about it. If you need an amp repaired, feel free to give me a call. Phone number is 203-892-4119. That's 203-892-4119. Websites are amprepairguy.com and also hardbackelectronics.com. Thanks for watching. 73.